Be a supporter. Support her in sports with Chelsea Sherrod.
I'm Chelsea Sherrod. I'm sitting here with Sharay Hall, assistant women's basketball coach at Colgate University. I'm so excited for you to be here and to be a part of this. So let's just start off with, we're going to take it way back. I want to know, when did you choose basketball? How old were you when you first started playing? And what was that defining moment in your childhood when you were like, basketball is for me, this is it?
I actually started playing very young. My dad played basketball his whole life. To this day, he's just turned like 55 and he's still playing. Don't know why, but he's still getting after it. So like I would say he put a ball in my hand maybe at the age of like 5.
Okay.
But it wasn't until maybe like middle school that I started taking it more serious, getting outside, playing at the park with girls and with boys and being able to hold my own. And ever since then, it was just like a steady upward climb. I just had to keep a ball in my hand and just that's when basketball became fun and I stayed with it.
Nice. And so, what was high school basketball like? Obviously, you played in college. We're gonna get to that, but what was your high school career like? Were you a standout player, or were you more reserved, kind of under the radar?
I was definitely reserved and under the radar. My class that came in, it was 8 of us that made varsity. And out of those 8, I honestly didn't start playing until my sophomore year. Freshman year, I kind of rode the bench. We had a lot of seniors and that were above all of us, except for maybe a couple. But sophomore year is when I started to get some playing time, and up until our senior year, we kind of had a good group of girls. And our senior year, we finally won the city championship.
In high school, everyone's talking about the best sneaker. They're talking about what you're wearing to the court, right? You always, whenever you see a player walk onto the court, you look them up and down. What kind of shoes do they have on? Do they have a wristband, a headband? Like, so do you have a favorite basketball sneaker, or did you have one in high school, or what was your favorite basketball accessory?
So we actually had like a team sneaker, which were the pro models, the Adidas one that you could change the color to stripes. I don't know if you remember those, but those were our team sneaker. But the one sneaker that I do remember that I just loved to play in back then was the T-Mac 5s. They were like the most comfortable shoe I have ever worn in my life to this day. I wish they had to come back like all these other sneakers because I for sure would get a pair. But back then, I don't think I wore any accessories. It wasn't until college that I started getting into, the flashy, trying to do something special type of gear and wear. So, but yeah, those T-Max, those were definitely my favorite.
So basketball obviously was a big part of your childhood, big part of your high school career, but were there any other extracurriculars that you were involved in, or other things outside of the game that you really, really liked?
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I will say obviously basketball first, but music is my second love. So grew up playing in different bands and learning how to read music, and I grew up playing the drums in the church. So I became a drummer as my years progressed to this day. So yeah, music would be the second extracurricular.
When did you realize that you could play at the next level, that you can play in college?
Yeah, I would say when I got there, actually on one of my official visit, we played pickup, which was great. The coaches couldn't be there, but they gave us an opportunity to play pickup, and I was doing pretty well against the team, against the seniors, against everyone who was already on the team, and it was just like, oh, like, okay, like I might have an opportunity here where I'm not just a role player. And
what was the college experience like? College basketball is a lot different from high school, across the levels too. I feel like people are always, they associate college basketball for the most part with Division I only. And they think that it's a huge difference from high school to D1, but also from high school to D3 to D2, big difference. What was that experience like for you?
I went to Colgate University of Pennsylvania, and it's a Division II school. For sure, it was tough. I experienced my first real injury, like within the first couple weeks of being there. Like college ball for me was very intense. My coach was very intense, so we ran a lot. And that's when I found out I have tendonitis, and then I break my thumb, and then it's just the intensity of the game and the pace of the game is just a whole nother ball game in college, no matter what level, like you just mentioned. So when I got there, I quickly was, smacked into reality with, okay, this is serious, this is intense, going against stronger, faster, because in high school we thought we were speed racers. We were doing suicides in 28 seconds, if not, we get to college and there's people beating you, so it's different.
So quickly too, you went from in high school having a male head coach to in college having a female head coach. What was that like? Was that an eye-opening experience for you? Was it different in any way? What was that like for you?
For me, I didn't at the time understand like the difference in the two. Like for me, a coach was a coach, whether it was a female, male, it didn't matter. Because I grew up being coached by men and women, like in AAU. So when I got a female head coach in college, I was fine. I was used to it. It wasn't a big adjustment for me. Only thing is that she could relate more to certain things, personal things, and be able to talk to her more than I would be able to talk to my male head coach in high school.
And what were your first coaching jobs like? How was it to, like you said, view the game from a different perspective? You're now switching over from player to coach. What was that for you?
Kind of funny because my coach, mainly as a student assistant, because I had started my master's that next year, I was just a practice player. I helped out with scouting, but I didn't have like a very prominent role. She just allowed me to learn, honestly. And it was funny as we practiced and played, she would be like, well, why weren't you doing this as a player? Or like, now you see the game so differently. It's so crazy to see. And it's just like, wow, like it's true, being on the sideline and watching the game more, because I averaged a lot of minutes, so I played a lot. You get to adjust and you learn, and so that was pretty cool actually for me to be on the sideline and be able to coach some of my former teammates, majority of my former teammates, as well as the newbies that came in.
We had a head coaching job before you got to Colgate. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I got hired as the head coach at University of Pittsburgh at Bradford, which is a Division III school. I actually knew the former women's head coach there, who actually transferred over to the men's job and was able to, give me an opportunity there. And it was a great experience. I was young, 26 years old as a head coach. I was nervous. I remember just, okay, where do we start? So being able to, help keep that program going and, get to the semifinals 2 years that I was there, and develop some players. It was overall an amazing experience.
You find yourself at Colgate University in Central New York. I mean, you're a Philadelphia native.
Yes.
Why come up to the cold winters of Central New York in Colgate? How did you get here, and why did you choose to come here?
So I will say, of all the schools I've been to, even though I'm young, I'm going on 9 years of coaching. They've all been at small town areas, from Lock Haven to Clarion to West Virginia to Maryland. They've all been small town areas. So even though I'm up here in the cold, I haven't experienced this much cold. I have always been in the mountains, I will say, but it wasn't a big adjustment for me, honestly, because I'm used to here. But I got the opportunity here from Coach Cleary. Actually was a coach in the PSAC when I was a player, and I actually played against Lauren, who's our top assistant here. So we already had a relationship. And when I saw the job open, it was just like, I believe in his vision and what that they were trying to accomplish here. And it was a great opportunity for me to get to this level of basketball. I felt like I was so why not throw my name in the hat and try to get an opportunity? So, yeah.
And so what would you say is your favorite thing about coaching, or your favorite thing about developing players?
Well, I would say that right there, the opportunity to be able to develop, young women and help them grow and blossom, and accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. I'm big on, again, building relationships and being a role model. That part alone, just being able to use my experiences to take them and help build another player or just another woman is, I live for that. I think that stuff is important. So yeah.
If you could name one or two or three people who are your biggest supporters or who have been your biggest supporters in your journey in basketball as a player and your career as a coach, who would those people be?
Well, my number one supporter would be my mother. She has obviously, she's my mom. She's been there since day one. But she has lupus, so she's unable to, just pick up and go all the time. She's on disability and all of that. But some way, somehow, she always finds a way. She has always, since I've been coaching for 9 years, never missed my very first game of every year. And if I was in a situation where we made playoffs, she never missed a playoff game. She never, she found ways, whether it was coming with people or pushing herself through pain to get there herself. She made it happen. So like when it comes to my support system, she's definitely that it person and my number one for sure.
And so is there anyone that you are supporting in their career journeys to potentially being involved in the sports industry, or who are you giving back to right now, if you could name anyone?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of former players that, I have a few that are playing overseas. I have a few like Maury Stewart from West Virginia, Wesleyan, Rachel Thompson is going to go overseas upcoming. And I have a couple that are trying to get into coaching high school, that I constantly, again, I'm going to keep bringing up, building relationships. I keep in touch, even though I've been at different schools. I still have pretty strong relationships with the student athletes and my former players. We're like a family. So I would be name dropping for a while, honestly, because I definitely keep in touch with a lot of them. A lot of them aren't in sport, but there are a few that are. And, I keep as much as I can give back into them, from them calling me for a playbook or calling me about a play or asking me for advice or some type of drill, et cetera, et cetera. I'm always there to give back and try to help them, succeed.
And what would you say to little girls, especially young girls of color, who are looking to do the same things as you and try to accomplish the same things that you have accomplished?
Yeah, I would tell them to keep dreaming, keep striving, don't stop. Don't let anyone tell you that, you're not good enough or, don't let anyone knock you down. I feel like the younger generation, they won't have to hopefully go through the things that we've had to go through and struggle to get through in order to get to where we are. I hope that it's a different type of world when this younger generation comes up. But even if it's not, keep striving. I believe for me, our steps are ordered in the Lord. So no matter what, nothing's going to change what you're destined to do. So just keep at it.
It's been great to get to know you a little more and know your journey too. I think there's a lot of young girls who want to get into sport, whether that be, becoming a successful athlete or becoming a coach, and a successful coach at that, which is not an easy task. And especially young girls of color too, to be able to see people that look like them in these positions, I think is so important. So thank you so much.
Be a supporter. Support her in sports.